OFPG Voices is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Board and Dice designs and publishes family and strategy board games. Two of their most recent releases are Talatum and Terracotta Army. They have recently launched their ally program to lend support to underrepresented voices in the hobby. World Series of Board Gaming in Las Vegas, September 24th to the 28th. It has 16 different games to compete in, an open gaming library, and a grand prize of $25,000. So there's something for you if you're a casual gamer or a competitive one. For tickets, check out WSBGVegas.com. Use referral code OFPG23 for a $40 discount off the Stay and Play or Quadruple Ring event packages. Hi everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Fan Plays Games. Voices,
Voices.
yeah.
And welcome back to another week.
I just want to say I'm excited.
So am I.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Very excited. Yes.
We have a special guest this week.
Yes, we do.
The secret is out.
Yes, it is.
We've been talking about it on our other show about the special guest that we weren't going to announce.
Yes.
And now you know we have Chaz Marler from Watch It Play.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
It's going to be
good.
great. Now, in addition to Chaz, we've got our other voices, which
Yes,
we
we do.
love.
Yes.
So we're going to kick it all off with Jazz from the Lobby of Hobbies. And Jazz is going to talk about 5 games you need to check out.
Yeah, he going to come through. Card games. He going to check it out. We're going to check it out. Yeah.
And then right after Jazz, we're going to have Marcus Ross with
Here we
his
go.
Designer's Corner.
Yeah.
And Marcus is just going to give us another look at how to design and create board games.
He always be doing his thing.
Yes,
he
he
be doing
does.
his thing.
Yes. And then after that, we're going to wrap it all up with Panda Talks.
Oh, yeah.
And Amanda Panda has a guest this week, Beneeta Kaur, and they're going to pay tribute to Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Amanda is our interviewer.
Yes, she
We
is.
love her for it. We love her. Yes.
Yes, but this week's Good Humans, you're not going to hear from me.
No.
This week, Chaz is taking over the Good Humans segment.
Yes.
And we can't wait to share with you what he has to say.
So here we go, family.
Hey there! I'm Chaz Marler from Watch It Played, and Starla and Mick graciously invited me to do a segment here discussing what diversity and inclusion mean to me and highlighting a game that showcases it. And I gotta say, I am really excited to be here with you. Excited? And a bit befuddled. Befuddled because immediately after sitting down to come up with what to say here, I thought, am I really the best person to be talking about diversity? I mean, look at me. I am a straight, middle-aged white guy. Compared to most anyone else who doesn't fit that exact same description, I have arguably lived my entire life on easy mode. And because of that, if I'm honest, diversity and inclusion isn't something that I've ever really had to actively think about in my day-to-day life. But isn't that what makes diversity and inclusion such an important topic? I mean, because it is so easy for those who don't have to frequently deal with its repercussions to simply ignore it. And as a result, risk marginalizing those who can't ignore it. And I'm not sure if the luxury of blissfully ignoring a social issue just because it doesn't directly affect your day-to-day life is really the proper way to be a good human. In fact, you could probably argue that it's the opposite of that. Ignorant, selfish, and cowardly. Which brings me to one of the ways in which board gaming has been such an asset to my life. Participation in this hobby has introduced me to a wider range of people from a greater diversity of backgrounds than I otherwise would have ever had the opportunity to meet. But even then, it didn't happen automatically. Gathering with others around a table to play a board game is, by its very nature, a social activity. But even so, it can still be intimidating to push ourselves out of our familiar comfort zones to get to know people who aren't just like us. What? No, it requires an additional ingredient, which, in my experience, begins with empathy. Now, growing up, I learned the golden rule. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. Good advice. But during my time in the board gaming community and just on this planet in general, I've also been introduced to what's called the Platinum Rule. Treat others the way they want to be treated, which requires empathy. And empathy is like a muscle, and as with any muscle, exercising that muscle becomes easier to do with repetition. As board gamers, the more games that respectfully feature people who don't look like us that are available to choose from, the more it's part of our environment, the less stretching that muscle takes to use, and the easier enacting the Platinum Rule becomes. As for games that accomplish this, well, Artisans of Splendid Vale comes to mind, which includes a diverse cast of characters with a wide range of backstories. However, Artisans of Splendid Vale was kickstarted in October of 2021 without any plans for a traditional retail release, and it's currently only available from Amazon and other online stores, so it's not readily available. But there are other games that feature inclusive characters. In fact, on Board Game Geek, there's an entire geek list started in October of 2020 that's dedicated to listing board games that feature at least one character that's a person of color, even if it's a character that's introduced in an expansion, which, let's be honest, is not the highest bar to clear. Still, even aiming this low, the list currently includes 159 games, ranging from Android Netrunner to Zombie Teens Evolution. 159 games on the list, which I guess is pretty good, until you realize that, for example, each year at the Eschenspiel trade show alone, over 1,000 different games are featured, announced, and released. I mean, sure, the argument could be made that not every game that includes a racially diverse cast of characters to play is present on that geek list. Certainly. Even so, shouldn't it be easier to find more than 159 games to put on this list in the first place? Increasing the diversity that appears within games decreases one of the potential barriers to enjoying those games that's encountered by those who feel that board games are not intended for me. It's about breaking out of that easy mode that I mentioned earlier. I don't see it when I look in the mirror, so I don't think about it. Problem solved. It's the mindset that prevents not only the inclusion of others who don't look like or behave the same way that we do, but also, when they do appear, can lead to depicting those individuals in a manner that they would prefer not to be depicted as. Forcing ourselves out of our easy mode can be a good starting place for expanding the scope of inclusivity in our hobby. And as inclusivity becomes less of an afterthought, it can help to open doors to more players and more shared experiences, which in turn provides a foundation to build a strong community on, fostering an environment for marginalized players to feel more comfortable and welcome, increasing the diversity of those participating in this hobby and at our very own gaming tables. Now, switching out of easy mode is not an easy thing to do, but I do think it's worth the effort.
What's going on, everyone? This is your boy Jazz over at the Lobby of Hobbies. Today we're taking a look at 5 games that I think you need to be checking out, specifically because these games get overlooked so often because of the type of games that they are. These are all card games. That means that the only components in them are cards. There's no board, there's no chits or tokens, there's no dice that you have to worry about. That means it's minimal setup time, quick and normally easy to teach with most of these games, maybe 5 at 10 minutes most, but also makes them very portable. That means that if you're in the States here, that Memorial Day cookout that's coming up, or those summer gatherings, 4th of July, whatever the case may be that are coming up these summer months, these are the perfect games to take and teach to players, both casual gamers all the way up to more experienced gamers. So if you're ready for this list, let's get into it. First one on that list is Fuji Flush from designer Friedman Freeze and Stronghold Games. This is all about getting rid of your hand of cards before everyone else. You're going to play a card out on the table, and if your card or your number is still out in front of you when it comes back around to your turn, you get to get rid of your card. But there is a semi-co-op nature in this game that if someone else played a 5 before you and you play a 5, together you have a 10, and the 10 is what's trying to get beat. And if it comes back around to your turn, no one beat that 10, you get to flush your 5, and you don't have to worry about drawing a new card. This game plays up to 8 players, a lot of fun, a huge blast every time I get this one to the table. Definitely check out Fuji Flush. Next game, what I call Mysterium Light. That means it is easier and lighter to teach than Mysterium Park. This is Similo from Horrible Guild Games. Specifically, this is Myths, but I also have Fables in the box. It's all about trying to get the players at the table collectively and cooperatively to get your character as the clue giver. There's going to be 12 characters out on the table, and you're going to be playing cards out either vertically, meaning that card is similar to your card, or horizontally, meaning that card is not similar to your card. And every round, cards are going to get eliminated, and you're hoping that your card is left on the table, and everybody at a table will cooperatively and collectively win. Definitely check this one out. If you want to try it, go on to boardgamearena.com, which is how I was introduced to this one, which made me buy 2 copies of this game, both Myths and Fables. So definitely check this one out. You can even mix in 2 copies of 2 different versions to play one big game. Next one on my list, I was introduced by Monique and Naveen over at Before You Play. This is Six Nymph, also known as Take 5 here in the United States. Six Nymph is the German version, and it's all about playing cards from your hand simultaneously, and players will play them face down, then turn them face up, and those cards will go out into a row of cards, and if your card is the 6th card to go into one of those rows, you're going to take the 5 cards that are played before it, which is bad because you don't want points. You want to get no cards at the end of the game, because the person who has scored the least amount of points will win this game. Plays up to 10 players. It's always a blast. Has this party style nature to it, but it's an awesome fun card game. The next one, I know Dwayne over at Blackboard Gaming is a huge fan of this Saatchi and Saatchi game. This is Photograph, or also known as Wind the Film. This is a little hand management set collection game where you're going to be trying to score cards of different colors. You're going to be playing those cards out into a tableau in numerical order. And some cards you're going to score, some cards you're not going to score, some cards you're going to try and get the most of that color to be able to get the bonus points at the end of the game. Very fun game, has this nature of trying to manage your hand. What cards come in one way and they exit another way out onto the table. So definitely check out Photograph. This is a little bit of heavier of the first of the 3 games that I've mentioned, but always fun, fairly easy to teach once people get a hold of it. Last game is probably the heaviest game on this list, one that I'm loving more and more every time I play it. This is Innovation. Innovation is this civilization style building game, but pretty much simple is you're going to be either drawing a card, playing a card, activating a card, or getting an achievement. You get achievements by having a set number of cards in your scoring pile. Once you get 6 achievements, you win, but this game is fun. Every single time I play it, has this take that nature that I love, and I'm not usually a fan of take that games, but definitely check this one out. This one is also on Board Game Arena. That's why I've been playing a lot of it and losing a lot of it as well, but I love it every single time. So there you have it, a list of 5 games, from light games to somewhat heavier and meatier games, all in a box of cards. So definitely check those out. What about some games that you're playing that are strictly card games? Put them down in the description below. I love a very portable game that I can teach to people, plays in with maybe an hour or less. So let me know down below, but I'll catch you on the next one.
Hello, this is Marcus Ross from Water Bear Games with another video for OFPG Voices Designer's Corner. Today I'm covering resource representation in games. I'm counting as resource as anything that has a discrete value that fluctuates up and down over the course of a game. There are many different ways to track player resources, each with their own pros and cons. It's important to choose representation that's simple to read at a distance, with capabilities that complement the gameplay. This is especially the case when several resource types must be distinguished from one another. Let's start with the most common representation, tokens. If the player has 3 water, then they have 3 water tokens. These are often made of chipboard, but are often upgraded to higher quality materials in deluxe versions, like shaped meeples or plastic. Cubes remain a popular choice, but in my opinion, cubes are garbage. Cubes that are the same size and differ only by color can make the game state harder to read than necessary. If the colors are close together in hue or my opponent's holdings are across the table in low light, it can add frustration to the game for no other reason. For instance, Trails uses cubes to represent its 3 resources. Those cubes are all the same size, and even if I'm not colorblind, these can be difficult to distinguish. They helpfully offer an upgrade pack that just changes the cubes to wooden tokens that match the board's graphics. Virtually any game that uses cubes like this would benefit from the same technique. This unofficial upgrade for Lords of Waterdeep makes the game more immersive with just this simple touch. Now for a game that uses tokens as resources brilliantly, let's talk about Euphoria from Stonemaier Games. Here there are 7 different resource types. 3 of those are harder to obtain and enable more powerful actions in the game. It's important to know if your opponents have these and which ones they are. So in the deluxe version of this game, the lower level resources are all wood, and all the higher level tokens are physically made of resin, glass, and metal. The colors and shapes are all distinctive and it works really well. Another very common way to represent resources is with cards. Perhaps the most famous of these is Catan. It could almost use tokens, but for two considerations. First, the frequent ability for an opponent to take one of your resources at random means all the resources have to be the same shape to enable an uninformed random choice. And secondly, there are a lot of resource cards, like 95. Literally the same thing can be accomplished with tokens and bags, but it would make the game much more expensive and slower to play. Cards have the best capabilities for that game. Lanterns also uses cards for the same cost-cutting reasons. It has 7 distinct lantern colors, which they took care to make different shapes so the colorblind players at least have a chance to play it. The artwork on the cards is very important, so if there be an upgrade pack for this game, it could be done with shape tokens, but I'd actually suggest poker chips in exactly the same style used by Splendor Duel. It's another case where the token's color is the attribute that matters most, and there are a lot of types. They have to be identical because they frequently get drawn from a bag, and durable since they get handled an awful lot. Additionally, they get chosen in rows from the board, so shuffling a deck of cards for it would work, but it'd be more cumbersome to pick those cards up off the board. There aren't very many other high-cost components in the game, so Duel can get away with it. Tracks are often used when the resources being managed are more abstract or the sheer number of tokens required would be unmanageable. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition uses tracks for showing production of resources. These fluctuate up and down, and their exact numbers are highly important, so the tracks are double layered to resist shifting with table bumps. The actual resources in the game are tracked with cubes. This is the only great use of cubes for resources that I've seen. The cubes are generic 1, 5, and 10 value, which is denoted by their size and color. What resource they actually represent is determined by where they are physically on the player's mat. It's easy to read by me and even by my opponents if they take an interest. We're getting the rare representations now with dials. Dials are most often used to track health or victory points like King of Tokyo does. This works okay for this game, but I'd argue something bigger and more centralized could work better, since knowing your opponent's numbers is very important in that game, and reading the closed dial windows is hard across the table. My favorite use of dials to track resources is in Battlestar Galactica. There are 4 extremely important dials that track the fuel, food, morale, and population. If any of these is depleted, the game is instantly lost by a majority of the game's players. Each dial's value is tracked by a window that shifts in color from blue to red as the critical values are reached. Plus, since the window is itself the part that's turning, the physical location on the wheel conveys a relative level of danger of the value. You don't even need to know the exact number to know when things are getting dicey. It's absolutely perfect. Now for dice, I had a tough time finding many games using dice as resources in quite the way I'm envisioning. One of the other representations on the list usually offers a less fiddly, more cost-effective way to handle resource tracking. This Star Trek dice game comes closest. It makes a point of using dice for absolutely everything, including its resources for shield and power outputs. These are highly specific, frequently adjusted numerical values, and there are a lot of them. The location on the player mat informs the player what each die represents, and the ink color makes it easier to locate it correctly. So that concludes my look at representing resources in games, and I hope this gave you something to consider in your own designs. There are trade-offs in cost and capability to consider with each possible method, and it's good to consider which ones will suit your players in game the most. Thanks.
Hello everyone, welcome in. I'm Amanda Panda, and welcome to Panda Talks. On this episode, we are talking with Beneeta Kaur.
Hello, thanks for having me on, Amanda.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. Those of you who don't know, Beneeta is an amazing person, super talented, all over the place in the board game sphere. You know her from her Twitch channel mostly, but she does a lot of different things. This month, the month of May, is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So we have decided to talk about 3 of our favorite Asian designers for tabletop games. So they might not be Asian American per se, and not all of them are going to be board games. They're going to be tabletop games. But it's going to be our 3, lovely favorites of Asian designers that you might not hear of that often. So hopefully you will check some of these games out. So Beneeta, do you want to start with your first one?
I will. So I'm going to start with, I'm looking because I want to make sure I say this right. Wolves, which is from Pandasaurus and co-designed by Ashwin Kamath. I actually had the pleasure of playing Wolves with Ashwin and his co-designer Clarence at Unpub a few months ago, and they actually taught me the game, which is it was really great of them. So Wolves is, again, another area control game. I promise that was not on purpose. Just talking about area control games today. But you are trying to be the most dominant wolf pack in this game. the action selection mechanism in this game is so unique. It relies on these like pieces where you're flipping them over because which indicates different type of territory, and like depending on what like pieces that you're flipping over is like where you can move your wolf pack into, and like there is a lot of combo building in this turn because like you can do certain actions to get to go again and go again. So like making sure that you have the pieces where you can go to the territory you want is definitely a puzzle, and it's a very satisfying puzzle when you can like combo like 2 or 3 turns together, and like you get to do exactly what you want. You can attract lone wolves. You're like eating other animals, and I just really enjoy it. It's pretty great production. I believe it's Ashwin's first design, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's the first game I wanted to talk about.
It's funny because it's one of the few area control games I like, and I played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Definitely. It's good. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. And it was really cool getting to play the game with the designers as well.
It's always fun, right? It's always interesting to play games with the designer. For my
especially sorry, one second.
Yeah,
I want to say, especially when like you're doing really, really well, you're like, I did, like Ashwin like crushed it, like he won like by a lot of points, but like for a second there, I was doing really well.
It's satisfying when you beat the designer at their own game, people.
It is. It really, and I've done it a few times with designers. I'm not gonna name drop right now, but like I've done it a few times, and I'm just like, yeah, so cool.
For my first designer, it is Tate Wu, who I absolutely love. He's done like Cat Rescue, Macaron, oh my gosh, the green screen, Cat Sudoku. He's done Art Deco. He's done amazing games. His company is called Sunrise Tornado, where you can find most of these games. They're always really cute, easy to learn, little games that are perfect to stick in your purse or in your game bag, and he just has like such a wide range of games, and he's been doing it for a long time. He's been designing a lot of games. So definitely check out Tate Wu and Sunrise Tornado. You can basically find any game for any kind of taste or level of gaming that you would like.
Also, you like did mention Tate is like one of the nicest people in this industry. Like he is such a nice person, and his games, like I haven't played all of his games, but I played like Cat Sudoku, super cute. I played Cat Rescue. I played Art Deco, which is like such a good, like fun, like auction-y game. Like that is a great like I was gonna say Tate, but like Amanda and I compared designers, and I'm like, okay, you can have Tate.
He's not friend. No, I'm just kidding.
He's your friend first. He's your friend first. It's fine.
No, yeah, I work with Tate a lot. He's just such a sweet person. Hilarious. He has such a almost like dry sense of humor. It's absolutely hilarious. And if you see him at cons, please stop by, say hello, tell him how much you love his games. But he's like a quiet, really quiet person, but he's a great designer and really fun to play games with, and is just the nicest guy. I agree. What about you? What's your second one?
Okay, so my second one is Steam Up, and these are 3 designers: Pauline Kong, Heyman Lee, and Marie Wong. So Steam Up is like, okay, so I have the deluxe edition. So I'm gonna be talking about my edition specifically, but it is a game where you are at a restaurant and you are competing with the other like customers at the table because you want to eat all the most delicious dim sum, which is like relatable because I want to eat all the delicious dim sum. And like so the deluxe edition, look, even the retail edition has like these like bamboo holders that hold all the dim sum pieces. The deluxe edition I have has like squishy bits, and it's like, it's so satisfying playing with them. And like it's a set collection game, you know, like you have a player board, and like your player board dictates how you're scoring points. Like for example, like there might be a seafood lover, and also the art in this game is fabulous. Like and there's so many character player like cards. So like for one, like the seafood lover, like the more like like shrimp that you get, like you'll get more points, while like a different dim sum is like only 1 point, while the other one's like 2 points. And then there's like a little bit of like asymmetrical power that you can do.
Yes.
And then what I find to be really fun is that there's something called fortune cards, where like the cards kind of like, no, they don't break the game, but they like tweak the rules of the game, and they make the game a lot more interactive. Because otherwise, like, you know, like you're getting tokens and you're like getting the dim sum, but the cards like let you interact with like other people, like, you know, like taking some of their dim sum, or like moving the steamer basket around, because there is this thing where you can only take dim sum from those 2 steamer baskets in front of you. There's a very interesting like mechanic when you're moving the steamer basket around. And yeah, I really like Steam Up. I think it is like I introduced it to my family and they were huge fans.
Yeah, no, I streamed it multiple times, and almost every time, I had to eat dim sum on the stream.
I know, it's like, how can you not? Like, I call it dim sum. I streamed Steam Up a few times, and like, yeah, I literally, like, after one of the times, I literally, like, went downstairs and just made some goiza, because I'm like, this is all I have at the moment, but better than nothing.
Yeah, and you are playing one of the 12 Zodiac characters, and they have really made the characters feel like, you know, like, you have the Ox who's a grandpa, and so they get to steal from across the table, because they can eat whatever they want. They're not limited, right? And then you have a little gambler. I think it's the monkey. No, the monkey's the wild child. But you have a mouse, the rat. The wild child. The rat's the gambler, and basically you're rolling dice to see if you get extra stuff. And every single character has something slightly different, but it really ties into thematically of what the animal is, and I really love it. Yeah, it's definitely one of those that you kind of want the deluxe edition, and they do sell like the squishy bits if you want that and you didn't get it.
I mean, like I tell you, it's a good game, good production otherwise, but like something about squishy bits. You just want the squishy bits.
Yes, get all the squishy bits, y'all. Yeah. For my second one is also a game about food. So Daryl Chow is a designer for origami game from Singapore, and he did a game called Walk and Roll. And it is about restaurant. It is a roll and write game where you are, you know, getting ingredients and cooking dishes. And just like in Steam Up, because Steam Up actually explains what the different dim sum dishes are, and actually has a lot of Asian culture, the Cantonese culture, because they are Cantonese, they're Chinese ladies in Canada, but they have a lot of the culture in it. So does Walk and Roll, because Walk and Roll actually at the back will of the rule book tells you about the different dishes you are cooking up in this Asian restaurant, and it's so good. Like you are, because everybody's rolls, you get something. You know, you always are doing something. You're always marking off stuff, and you have a fridge and a pantry you can go into, and they have a simpler side and then they have a harder side, and you're just marking off different dishes, trying to get the most points, trying to unlock stuff, and then you can, you know, combo a little bit too. And it's such a great roll
building in. Yeah, and also, like, you know, the components are good. It's like all dry erase marker boards, so like you don't have to like laminate your sheets. And then they also just came out with an expansion at Essen last year, the Korean expansion, like the Korean food expansion. So like you got like your favorite like Korean foods in it, and it's just like add just another like board, and it's cool. I really like Walk and Roll. Like I think it is a fantastic roll and write.
And it's funny because the insert looks like a walk. It's a black insert. You roll your dice into the walk, and then you see what you get. It is so good. It is so good.
It's a good one. It's a heavy like box, because like the components are such good quality. So it's like a small box. So it's heavy.
Exactly.
Okay, so my last game that I want to talk about is Foundations of Rome by Emerson Matsuuchi. And so Foundations of Rome is like, so you are the architects of Rome and you are building Rome out. There is one main board and everyone is trying to build their buildings onto this one board. So like you're building Rome together. You're buying a card, and like that card is like, it's based on a grid, and that grid will tell you where you can build it. You start with small buildings, you try to upgrade it to bigger buildings. It's there's point, like there's like three different like times you like do scoring, and there's like end game scoring, and it's just like, you know, how many of your like buildings have you put out? Have you been upgrading them? There is like a set collection-y points in the sense that like you score some buildings based on the buildings around them. Like, you know, like the scoring is like so simple in the sense that like I can explain the rules in 5 minutes and people are able to like start playing. Foundations of Rome is expensive, and I totally get that.
So many minis.
I found so many minis, 100%. But also, you can just give a player a pack. Like, I know that they put in a lot of work to make setup and teardown within like 10 minutes. And like for such a big sprawling game, that's impressive, especially because it's like less than an hour a game. Like the gameplay is so fast, right? So I can give like Amanda like the green color player like tokens, you know what I mean? Like, because I keep the blue.
But no, we're both wearing blue, so
no, blue. Look at my logo right here. It's blue. And blue. See, everywhere blue.
No, just kidding.
So and like every mini has a spot to put back. It's just like it clean up set up so fast, which is important for like a game that only takes an hour. And I really enjoy it. Like, I think Emerson Matsuuchi makes really like simple and clever games, and I don't use simple like in a bad way. I use simple in the sense that like there's a lot of strategy there, but like the rules are like quick to grasp. Like, so I've only played Century Spice Road. I like the whole Century series, but I love it. I actually own Century Golem Road because like I find the Golem theme a lot more interesting and prettier than Century Spice. Because like I don't want like cubies, I want like pretty jewel crystals from the Golem edition. And so like I played that one from Emerson Matsuuchi, and like so he just makes really welcoming games. So yeah, that is my last one, Foundations of Rome.
No, completely
by
agree.
Emerson Matsuuchi. Yeah.
And also you might think, oh, you don't need the minis. It really does help gameplay. Like seeing and it looks gorgeous on table, but it really does help with the gameplay and being able to visualize things and seeing things across the board when they have the different shapes of the buildings and stuff. So it is kind of like appropriate, you know, to the game.
Yeah.
My last one is not a board game. It's an RPG. It is called Yangshi Blood in the Banquet Hall by Banana Chan and Senfeng Lim. And hopefully I said their names right. And it is about a Cantonese Chinese family running a Chinese restaurant. And it just so happened that all three of my games has food related.
Hey, no judgment. No judgment. Food makes me happy too. Food makes me happy too. Yeah.
It's like so many. But yeah, the Banana Chan and Sen are just like, you know, awesome people in the industry. This RPG it hit close to home for me because my dad actually opened Chinese restaurants up and down Alabama, the state of Alabama.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we moved every 3 or 4 years. He would open a new one in a new city and then get it, you know, profitable and then sell it off and open a new one. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. That was his jam, right? But so this RPG really is like close to my heart. It's, you know, about, you know, Asian American culture and stuff, and so
is there a horror element to it?
I think there is. For this one, there is a horror element. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I think with any RPG, it just depends on how you want to play it, right? You can downplay it more and stuff.
This is definitely an RPG that I would love to play because I think Banana Chan is so cool. But
she's amazing.
Yeah, so I haven't played Jiangxi, but I played one of her games called Battle of the Boy Bands, and that was really fun. I enjoyed my play of that.
Yeah,
so
that one's a lot of cool too. Yeah, so check out those designers and their games. They're absolutely amazing. And I hope you'll find more, you know, from different people from around the world because, you know, games are being made everywhere, y'all, everywhere. And it's absolutely incredible.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, Beneeta, why don't you tell them a little bit about, you know, your schedule for your Twitch, what you have going on?
So again, like I mentioned earlier, I am a board game Twitch streamer. So I stream Mondays and Wednesdays and the occasional Fridays. I stream at 10 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Pacific. And I work with a lot of cool publishers to show you like older games, new games. I do occasional Kickstarter previews. I dipping my toe into video games, but my primary love is board games. Don't worry. And you know, it's cool. Like, you know, Board Game Twitch is a really awesome place to be. Like, I guest on Amanda's show, Amanda guests on mine. Like, it's a very collaborative environment, and I love being a part of Board Game Twitch. And so come hang out. It's Beneeta_K on all social media, which is nice. You can find it over here, right here. And yeah, also like I said, I do social media for Maestro Media, and we just announced a Hello Kitty board game that's coming out on Kickstarter in September, which is very exciting. And I also do social media for Games and Stuff, a local board game store in Maryland, and we have a great selection of games. So I'm very proud of who I do social media for. Actually, coincidentally enough, I was there today filming. That's why I bought Rococo, because I can't ever go into the store without buying anything. It's physically impossible for me. I actually did a video on Steam Up at the store.
Nice.
Like, I have been talking about a Steam Up a lot today.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm Amanda Panda. Please find me everywhere under Panda Angel. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday on my Twitch channel. I guess
streaming, Amanda.
I know. I'm always streaming. I'm always guesting. I now do some Twitch streaming on Tabletop Gamers Twitch channel. We are both part of Tabletop Live Network as well. And I'm doing a little bit of the social media for Violet Daisy Games, which is quite fun. So I hope to see you around the socials, and we both hope to see you in the chat of our Twitch channels. And if you have any questions, all of our links to our socials will be below in the description. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
All right, another great episode.
Another great episode. Chaz came through.
Chaz.
Showing why he's an ally.
Yes.
Yes.
Much love.
Much love. Much love, Chaz.
Yes.
Much love. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to get more people in the hobby to come on board and talk about the need for diversity,
yes,
inclusion, acceptance,
yes,
equity, and the importance of being a good human.
Yes, but it's so good that people in very big channels, you know, will say, hey, I'm taking a stand for diversity and inclusion and change.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing.
You know, and we just want people to understand that this is not a political statement.
No.
This is not about, you know, trying to be what they say woke and all that. It's a human rights
Even though I am woke, though.
We are woke.
Well, I'm woke. I'm woke. Look at everything.
But that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We just want to be comfortable. We want to be happy.
Yes.
Just like the dominant culture in this hobby is comfortable and happy.
Yes.
We want to feel that same way. We want to feel happy when we sit at the table. We don't want to feel like we're not wanted or that we're looked down upon because we're quote unquote, they think we're less than. We want to feel equal because we are. We are all humans.
Yes.
We're all here in the hobby to play games, to have a good time, and everybody should be treated the same, regardless of race, creed, color, walk of life, sexual orientation. We want the same.
And we deserve to be represented.
Yes, we do.
In all different type of ways. You know, in front of the games, behind the games, producing them, publishing them. We want to be in all places and every table around the hobby and the industry.
Yes.
Definitely.
I mean, it's just to be a normal thing that humans are humans. Are humans.
Yeah.
Just leave it like
Good
that.
humans.
Humans are humans.
Yes, yes.
And we should all be accepted and be respected, like you said.
Yeah.
And as always, we have to thank our awesome contributors.
Yes.
Yes, because Jazz did his thing.
Always do.
And Marcus did his thing.
Dropping the mics.
And Amanda did her thing.
That is our interviewer. Yes, our interviewer. Yes.
Our contributors always bring it.
Yes,
every episode.
We love them.
And we're so proud of them.
Yes, we love them.
And then we also have to say thank you to our awesome sponsors.
Yes.
Board and Dice.
Yes.
And the World Series of Board Gaming.
Check them out now. Support them now. They support us. Let's support them, OFPG family. Let's do that. Yeah.
We just want to say thank you for your support.
Now, Starla, What about our merch? Look, we got it on. So what's up with the merch?
So if
What's
you're
up?
looking for a shirt,
Yeah.
or a mug, or a pillow,
Yeah.
you know, we've got our Meeple Line shirts, our Good Humans, we've got our logo shirts.
Yes.
Check it out. Get a shirt. Buy a shirt for a friend.
Yeah.
And support the channel.
Yes. Buy a shirt for a friend. Do that. Now, Starla, our next episode is coming out on June 7th, 2023. We're going to have some good stuff going on there. But again, Starla, if somebody's trying to find RPG or RPG Voices out here in this crazy social media world and all this stuff going on, where can they find us?
If you're looking for Our Family Plays Games, we will be at KublaCon
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
So if you're in the vicinity of San Francisco, be sure to come check us out. And if you're looking for our channel,
Yes.
you can find us on Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram,
Yep.
Twitter,
Yes.
right here on YouTube, and we're on TikTok.
TikTok.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Now, family, thank you so much for coming out and checking us out and checking out all these beautiful voices and even Chaz. And we want to thank Chaz again from Watch It Play for coming on through and doing his thing. Now, if you have any questions or comments, put it down below. We definitely want to hear from you. But there's one thing, family, we want you to always know. We love you. Bye now.
Everybody.